Hey guys, in today's episode, we look into our week 5 starts and sits, and we have some laughs as we have the very famous return of our fan favorite segment, Party Questions.
Welcome to the Coach and Commish podcast. No, not John Gruden, and definitely not Roger Goodell. It's Chris and Sean breaking down fantasy football for the everyday man.
Welcome back. You are here with the Coach and Commish. I'm Chris. This is Sean over here, and it's been a while.
I'll say this. It's been a while. This is actually a welcome back because it has been. We're sorry, guys. We've been out of commission here. We've only had, I think, one actual episode for the season. We had some sickness in my family, and then over here, man's back on the injured reserve. Other ankles down.
Yep, there's a part where I just started driving. We're doing this in the morning. We're doing a morning one just to get back.
Never
into
again,
it.
by the way. So.
Probably not. I'm more chipper, ready to go. Sean is not happy right now.
Not a morning
but
person.
I was like, we got to get back on this. So from injuries to sickness, we've been missing. You guys have been hitting us up, asking where's the next podcast. So we're going to jump right into it. We've been missing a while, so we're going to go back and review. But because we've been gone so long, we want to drop the party question.
Ian, would you like to go to a party in my pants?
No, Brick.
All right, let's go.
Party question of the week. Most overrated movie of all time.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, I like your answer. I'm going to let you go first.
This could get some people razzled here. I know I'm going to be with Chris's. I can see it in the doc, and I think the rest of the podcast might be explaining to him why he's no longer my friend.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, this is probably controversial, and that's why I think it's overrated, and I'm going to say Avatar. People love this movie, and I think it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. And it was hyped up for like 10 years or something. You know, finally, Cam Cameron or what is it?
Yeah,
James Cameron.
I don't know. I know his last name's Cameron. I can't remember.
Anyways, the Titanic dude. And it's honestly like, I watched this movie as a kid, Fern Gully. I don't know if anyone's seen this movie. It wasn't extremely popular. It was an animated kids movie that also freaked the crap out of me.
Oh, it freaked the crap out of me.
Because that oil monster dude was freaky. Like, I don't think that should have been shown to children. But regardless, it's the exact same storyline of Avatar. When I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, he just ripped off this movie that I saw when I was a kid. I don't know. A lot of it was weird. We're putting tails together. We're sticking our tail in a horse or something. I don't know. Or the thing that flies. Yeah.
You didn't like the big blue people.
I don't mind it. Again, I don't think it was a bad movie. I just think that it got hyped up as like the best movie of all time for a little while.
The hype train's still high on it. I think it's James Cameron who's the director.
And there's 2 ever coming. I mean, what's...
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. They've been talking forever about this sequel. And I don't even know if production even started. I don't even think
all hype and no delivery, in my opinion, on the Avatar / Fern Gully.
And this choice for me, it's it's so hard for me to understand at times, and it hurts everybody's head. But Inception, all right,
terrible.
Christopher Nolan, which is your boy. All right.
That a Nolan movie could be an overrated movie.
I'm just saying, everyone's like, gotta go see it because it's a Christopher Nolan movie and an A-list of actors. But come on. Viewers, you sat there the first time and you're like, how did this happen? A lot of it just hurts your head. Like if I can't wrap my mind around it, I'm not like, I can't enjoy it.
I honestly, I could agree with that point a little more if you had said Tenet or Memento. Those two, I think, are a little harder to wrap our heads around. Inception is a difficult one. You do have to think during Nolan movies, but yeah, I mean, you're wrong, man. This movie is fantastic. I mean, it makes you need to go watch it again and find out which layer of dream I'm actually in.
Well, it makes me scared to dream, you know? Like, someone's in my head. Like, I don't know, you can die in your dream and all this other stuff at different levels. I had no idea. All righty. So we go from our party question to the turntables. That's a return.
Well. How the turntables...
All right, Sean, you got someone that could be turning the tables here. Who's your guy?
So our turntables, just for those of you who don't remember the segment, is...
Oh, yeah, it's been so while.
He's somebody that the past week or the past weeks has had a difficult time. You may be scared to start him after what happened the previous weeks. And I'm saying to start him. Or the opposite, you could also do somebody who's been trending up, but it's time to give him a seat on your bench maybe because a bad time is coming. And I'm going to go with a good swing upward, and that is Damian Harris. It was rough last week. We knew it was going to be rough. Tampa Bay's defense don't start running. I mean, you just can't. I don't think you can start running backs anymore unless you have one of those top super tier guys that you just have to leave in, like a Kamara or a Derrick Henry or something like that. Then you're going to sit him against Tampa Bay. He had a bad week. He gets Houston this coming week. I'm going to give you the confidence that in case you were a little scared of what happened, I think Damian had a not so great week the week before as well. So I think it's time to stick him back in your lineup, Damian Harris. I think he has a great week against Houston.
Okay. Let's go with my guy, Kenny Galladay against Dallas. We saw a little bit of
People
life.
need this help because I have Kenny G in a league, and I do not want to start him.
I have him in our league, and I started him. He gave me decent points, like 14 or whatever. But I can see a bigger production here in Dallas because there's a lot of injuries in New York on the receiving corps, right? So I think we can start trusting him. He's the best receiver they have. They just need.
I would hope so with the amount of money they spent on him.
Yeah, him and Daniel Jones have to get on the same page, and there's been some very public uproar about it on Kenny G's side.
Squeaky wheel over there.
Yep. So that's divas. Our wide receivers are divas, man. So those are our guys we think can turn to the positive going into week 5. But we've been through a month of the season, and we've been gone for 3 weeks of that, basically. So we want to go and take a look back at the first 4 weeks and just go with our biggest takeaways.
Okay.
And I'll kick it off here. Somebody we thought would be a safe pick in drafts, Mike Davis.
Somebody being Chris over here. This man bought him everywhere.
I bought all my RB0 approaches was on him and Gus Edwards. Oh man,
not turning out well.
Not turning out. My wide receivers are great. My running backs is a struggle bus, pun intended. But
Yes,
Mike Davis had too much hype because we thought he'd be safe. But for some reason, this man named Cordero Patterson, who's a wide receiver kick returner, is now RB3 in fantasy and taking away production from Mike Davis. Mike Davis still gets about 10 to 15 touches, but as soon as Patterson busts one and starts going hot, Davis is straight to the bench.
I'm going to chime in here, and my thought on this is, yes, that we overrated Mike Davis, and this is the week he got in the end zone. Still a bad week, but you could at least sell it to somebody that he's still relevant and get rid of him now. Like if I have him in one league and I'm trying to just dump him because
I have him in our league and I have no luck of dumping.
The end is near here. I think that legitimately you're not even going to be able to start this guy anymore.
Yeah. Another one, Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
A month through, man. And even last week,
I don't know if it's slowing down, man.
yeah, he and Matthew Stafford just missed on a couple of things. So it was kind of a down week for him. But still, if you watch that game, he's a threat all day long.
Yeah.
I had no idea he would be above some of the wide receivers that we usually see in the top 3.
I liked Cooper Kupp coming into the season. I did not foresee this. So, yeah, I think it's for real, too. I mean, if you want to trade him for the top of the tier, like you can get an Adams, a Tyreek Hill, a Diggs, maybe. But I'm not. That's about it. That's probably where my list ends. I'm hanging on to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. All right. So right before we sign off here, we're going to hit some start.
You're just going to skip me? I don't even get to give my takeaway?
Bad, my
Look at
bad.
this.
You were talking so much
I'm going
about
to call
Cooper.
this the coach show.
Yeah.
No commish thoughts. My takeaway. So I'm going to talk about a Mike as well in a good light, and that's Mike Williams, man. I liked him as a late round pick. I didn't get him in as many leagues as I had hoped, but this guy, it looks real. As long as he can stay healthy and not injure himself by falling on the ground as he often does, I think he's legit going to possibly take that 1A role from Keenan Allen, and it looks like Justin Herbert is enjoying throwing touchdowns to Mike Williams. So I think he's legit a shot at a top 10 wide receiver end of season. And yeah, same thing with him. Hang on to him unless you can get that top tier value. But I'm happy where I'm at if I have Mike Williams and Kittles and Bits, man. You waited way too long to get him into your lineup. I think he finally did, and he had a kind of a down week this week. But
there's a little legend of Mike Williams that when you bench him, he goes off.
It's true.
When you start him, like Daniel.
Well, I've been
says,
starting
he
him the
goes.
last 3 weeks, and it's been fantastic. So, and then the other one would be Swift. We were wrong on Swift. At least I was. I was not willing to, with the injury, take the chance on Swift, and then I thought that team would just be so god awful and so much split touches between him and Jamal Williams that it wouldn't be worth having Swift. And he's a top 5 running back right now. He's looked fantastic. The work is still split. The team is still bad, and it doesn't matter because he's a very talented running back that is going to continue to be. I think he'll be an RB1 the end of the year. So.
We were wrong with that. I steered clear of DeAndre. I think on almost all of my draft.
If you are able to somehow win this league here, Phil, that's your MVP right there. I thought that was a terrible pick, and Swift has been holding down the fort for you.
All right, so last segment here that I accidentally jumped the gun on. Little stardom sit 'em. We've been gone a while, so we thought about putting out there a little more fantasy advice. But guys that we think you guys should start. So these are 2 starts here. Sean, I want to start off with your guy here.
All right, so this is more of a confidence boost for anybody who went out on the waiver wire to get him. Trey Lance, put him in your lineup. In one half, that man had over 25 fantasy points. It's time. It's Trey Lance time. I don't think Jimmy G is going to make it back this season. It looked pretty bad, and even if he's healthy again, if Lance lights it up, it's over. It's going to be Lance's job. The rushing baseline is going to be there. That is the important thing. I thought this is how we would have it with Justin Fields, but it looks like Lance is going to more be that player.
I want to throw that out there. So look at the other rookie quarterbacks. Fields. He's losing his job to Dalton probably this Sunday, coming back in. Wilson. That guy, the stats aren't helping out there.
Interception after interception.
Trevor Lawrence.
Interception after interception.
So we're going for Trey Lance, who we all kind of liked.
Yeah, he was the guy we probably thought would end up being the best option if he started.
And that's the one you had to be patiently waiting on. And now...
Congrats, Tim. You waited it out.
If you got him in that 12th round ahead of everybody else, you're rewarded. You got trade bait or a great startable quarterback, probably.
But he's playing the Cardinals this week. They're going to put up a lot of points. They're going to have to continue to score. So I think Trey Lance is a fantastic start. Like, he's a top 5 QB in my opinion this week. Like, you just need to put him in your lineup.
Yeah. And I got Tony Pollard of the Dallas Cowboys going against the Giants.
Is he a backup though, Chris?
He is a backup, and here's the funny thing here. Most people who own Tony Pollard own Ezekiel Elliott. If you believe in the handcuff method, you went out of your way to get both these guys. Early on this year, Tony Pollard's seen more explosive. He is used a ton in the slot, so that you have them both on the field at the same time. So he's in the pass game, little speed sweeps. He is startable in any format, I believe. And he's even startable if you have Ezekiel Elliott on your roster. I think you can play both. If you have the opportunity to put Pollard in the flex, if you don't have a better option like a bigger receiver, you can feel safe putting Pollard in the flex while you still have Elliott as your starting RB1.
Yeah, I mean, his touches have been pretty consistent over the last 3 weeks here. 13 touches, 11 touches, 10 touches. It doesn't sound like a lot, but he's been able to be that kind of juice to the offense to where he looks, spry on the plays he comes in on. He gets the ball often, only playing about 35% of snaps, but when he comes in, he's getting the ball. They're playing. This is probably going to be a matchup-based thing. I agree this week against the Giants. Mm-hmm. I could foresee a blowout happening to where they just need to run the ball a lot towards the end of the game, save Elliott, and then put Pollard in. I could see a big week for him, but people need to view him as a flex option because he's
well, those 13 touches
on a good offense.
He does. It's like explosive play. He'll get a 10-yard, 15-yard gainer. Mm-hmm. So he does a lot with the few touches he has. But yes, definitely this week against the Giants, he'll be a guy that can win you your matchup because he might get 15 plus points in the flex.
All right, and then bonus one here because we're about 5 minutes earlier than I thought we would be.
We were doing great.
I know. Look at us, just scrolling through it. I want to see. Let's give some trade advice. Maybe a trade away or a trade for player.
Okay.
I'll go first just so that you can have a little bit of time to look. And I'm gonna say the player that I want to trade for right now is Damian Harris. I talked about him earlier. I mean, you could grab a couple of the guys here that I talked about, but Mike Davis or Mike Williams, if you could go get him, is a fantastic one this week. And people thinking maybe, the ride is over. I don't think it is. And then Mike Davis trade away. But Damian Harris is who I'll talk about. Bad week last week against Tampa Bay. Owners may be down on him, and I think he's a great play the rest of the season. So I would go out and get a Damian Harris. And everybody needs running back help, so I think he's a great guy to target.
Yeah, this one will seem a little odd, but I would trade for Allen Robinson.
Okay, that's
Andy Dalton.
We should talk me off the ledge here because I am not feeling great with my Allen Robinson. I have him in a few leagues.
I think if you can get him really, really low.
I think you can. I think there's a lot of people ready to drop him.
With Andy Dalton coming back, okay, we saw for some reason him and Justin Fields aren't BFFs.
Yeah.
It's not. If you're not Darnell Mooney with Justin Fields, he doesn't care, which I don't understand. But Allen Robinson is probably seeing Andy Dalton coming back. He's probably taking him out to dinner and saying, "Hey, bud, I'm like in a contract type year. You get me the ball. We're not making it very far." But you and I both need numbers to continue our careers, and Allen Robinson is on the up on his career trajectory. He's still in his prime. So I think a better consistent passer and Andy Dalton, still a bad offensive line. He's going to find Robinson quicker. And I think if you, with all these down weeks, find someone in your league that's frustrated with him, then maybe you want to flip him. He's like, okay, I got extra running backs, or I got another receiver that I don't really care too much about, but here, I'll give you Claypool for Allen Robinson.
Yeah, I think
sounds a good trade.
I think that's probably something you could get done, and I like it. I think you're right. If Andy Dalton can keep that job, I think that he is better for Robinson. We thought he was QB proof, but Justin Fields showed us that maybe that's not the case. So.
No, he usually is, but man, or Matt Nagy and Justin Fields together isn't a great combination.
Yep. All right, well, that's our podcast episode this week. We're going to try to do Wednesday night recordings, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday nights. We'll try to get it out on Thursdays. You're probably hearing this on a Thursday. Let us know if that's a good day for you guys. We figured it's a football day. We might as well get our podcast out on that day. And we got a little pushback on not coming out with our waiver wire talk on Tuesday night. So maybe some people were listening. I was kind of down on it. We only had a few viewers the last few times. I thought maybe people weren't watching it. So let us know if you want that segment in there. If we get, let's say, 5 people that comment or let us know personally, then we'll continue the waiver segment.
I had a couple people hit me up, but 90% of the issue of us losing viewers is because I was an old man trying to get on Facebook Live. Like we would start off with enough,
I know,
and then they would fall off because
Mike figured it out. By the way, we had no issues.
I finally figured it out. Every time it comes in there, I have to make sure I switch the little circle to show my face before I go on.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm an old man with that. And then some people wanted Mike to come back on as a guest because
I think over our waiver wire segment, we just need to have the Mike dating update.
Dating update, yeah. I mean, his own mother would chime in. Alrighty, guys. So that's it for this week. Thank you for coming back, and we promise we won't have that long of an absence again this season. All right,
Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Coach and Commish podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Coach and Commish. And join our Facebook group called Fantasy Football Advice with the Coach and Commish for direct access to weekly waiver wire and start sit advice.